Hello, everybody. I am yet again Price McKinney, simply put. And as always, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Yep, today I'm breaking all my personal protocol with this particular video. Obviously, I just got home from work. I normally have a routine, put myself together, you know, and but today that is not going to happen. Um, the past couple of days have been a little bit different, and that's why this is different. Yesterday was 7 years that my dad had been that my dad has passed, so that was on me. It's not a dismal thing. I wasn't down and depressed or anything. I just thought about him all day. The good parts of it. Also found out one of my classmates, and literally a dude I've known 40 plus years. Literally grew up with him and his family. He passed on Sunday, so it kind of switched. I had to switch gears. I had another completely, totally different video I was going to do, was prepared for it, but this is different. And I was thinking about one of my oldest brothers, and I'm going into it now. His wife passed a few years back, been several years ago, and I remember distinctly, it's hit me today. On the side of the church, we were outside. He just kind of walked out, and I didn't leave his side. And he looked at me. He said, "Bro," he said, "Man, I was married at the time," and he said, "Y'all get it together, please, man. Y'all get it together, because you don't never know when you will not have another chance." And watching him go through that, I'll never forget it, and I'll never forget those words. Get it together. So what am I saying to you? Get it together. What do you mean? If you're in a relationship, let me back up. If you're dating, you found somebody that you considered to partner with, and you all are, you're in the beginning stages, and you're seeing signs already. And I'm not talking about red flags. Most people, when they get in relationships in the beginning, the first thing they look for is what's wrong so they can get out of it. That's not what I'm saying. If you're in the beginning of a relationship and you are already seeing indications that you're not going to be at peace, there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of drama, there's a whole lot going on. Almost kind of like the Tasmanian devil. Wherever he goes, he leaves a path of destruction. Even if it's not to that extreme, if you're seeing that, the person is, you can't really connect with them, you can't really talk to them, you can't really communicate with them, bow out gracefully in the beginning. Don't please, for the sake of you, because a lot of us have the challenge of thinking that we can change somebody. If I do this, if I do that, if I do this, if I do that, then he's not going to do this, she's not going to. Stop. Just stop. All right? Reconsider, okay? Because it's not worth your peace at the end of the day. And if you are currently in a relationship, and God forbid if you're currently in a marriage, and you've been 10, 15, 20 years, and you're dealing with, I can't talk to him. Every time I talk to him, he don't listen. He's popping off. He says this, he says that, and I can't talk to him. Vice versa for the woman. Every time you say something to her, she freaking snaps. It's bottle rocket. She's gone. She'll be back in a minute. And you're dealing with that. I'm not telling you to get out of the relationship. I don't tell grown people what to do. That's not my job. It's not my MO. But what I am saying is, you need to back up and punt and reconsider. You're gonna have to do something different, because if you're around my age, even a little bit younger, maybe a little bit older, and you don't have somebody that you can work with, it ain't worth your peace at the end of the day. I'm not saying it has to be perfect. I'm not saying everything has to be right. I'm not saying all I's have to be dotted, all T's have to be crossed. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is, if you're with somebody, you're not becoming better, they're not becoming better, then what in the ham sandwich are you doing? What are we doing, folks? What are we doing? If you're stagnated, the relationship ain't moving, you're still year after year after year dealing with the same stuff. Well, maybe he'll at some point, maybe she'll at some point. Okay, at some point, when are you going to say at some point is enough? How long are you going to continue dealing with this? Out of him, out of her, whichever one it is. And let me say this too. Make sure you're doing your part. Make sure you're handling your business. Make sure that you are being responsible. That you're not the one that's creating the chaos. That you're not the one that's being argumentative. Because over the course of time, and I know I'm kind of clowning and cutting up in the middle of it, but the truth of the matter is, over the course of time, I don't want you to become resentful and get to the point where you just literally can't stand being around the person that you're with. And that's what happens in too many cases, because you just nothing changes. Nothing changes. Change in and within itself is a challenge, especially when it's dealing with you and your shenanigans and your innards and the stuff that you're putting out, the stuff that you're saying, your mouth, your ways, your words. Change is challenging, especially when we've gotten to the point where we're like, you know what? I don't even care no more. Like my brother told me, like I'm telling you, get it together. I'm a firm believer, and part of the reason why I'm still single to this very day is because not that I'm beginning to realize, I realize more and more, the more I work on me, the more work I realize I got to continue working on. And that is a fact, folks. That just is what it is. I'm not bringing anybody into the world of Price right now, because Price has and it doesn't mean I'm a bad guy. It doesn't mean that I'm, just, oh, he's a nut job. Maybe I am at times. That's depending on what person you talk to, they might agree. But I know what I need to work on, and I know what I need to become in order to be in a relationship, so that once I get in it, they're not dealing with a whole lot of the extra stuff that I'm bringing to the table, because I've not done the work I need to do. You follow me? So again, if you're in a relationship, you're involved, I don't care if you're in the beginning, the middle, or you've been in a relationship for a long time. It doesn't even matter what your quote unquote marital status is. It's still the same concept. Get it together. You don't know from one day to the next whether you're going to be here or not. And at the age, I'm 52, like I said, my buddy that died literally grew up, he's a year older than I am. And it's hard, it's challenging to even process, but he's not here. He's not here. Great guy, man. Great, good dude. And he's gone. He's gone. And so I said that to say, I'm not, let me say this, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to scare you into doing the right thing for yourself and for your relationship. This is not a fear tactic at all. This is a reality, okay? What would you rather do? I'm raising my hand. This means I got a question. What would you rather do? Spend your time with somebody that you can enjoy, or spend your time with somebody that you just keep arguing with and y'all just cannot come together? I remember years ago, I remember a couple and the conclusion of that matter was the only thing that they agreed on is that they disagree on everything. Do you want that to be you? I'll answer that question for myself. I'm going to say it the way I was about to. Ham sandwich? No. To the no. No, I refuse. Or as Glorilla would say it, I refuse. I flat out refuse. I refuse to do it that way. It's not happening. I enjoy life and I love living, and when the time comes, I'm gonna have somebody that's on that same path. Will we agree on everything? No, but it doesn't have to be. Just talk about it. It doesn't, just because you don't agree with what I agree with doesn't mean it has to turn into an argument. Let's be adults, folks. Let's make it happen. Let's be adults. Have fun in your relationship. Talk to one another. If you come to an impasse, take a freaking time out, man. Just take a time out. Sit it down, come back together when you can talk sensibly and she can talk sensibly. But all of the extra, it's a wrap. Touch a neighbor, tell them it's a wrap. Again, I'm Price McKinney. This is simply put, this was a totally different episode. Uncut, uncensored, as I would call it. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all social media. Simply put with Price McKinney. But most importantly, go to YouTube. Simply put podcast with Price McKinney on Tuesdays. And I'm not an expert. I just know what I know, and I promise you, you are going to see me soon.